Hi everyone and welcome to this tutorial. In this episode, we'll be looking at 3ds Max's animation tools. So we'll first just do a little bit of a rundown on some of the tools. So you have your frame slider here and you can just drag across and set it to different frames as you need. If you go down to the time configuration button, you'll see it pops up the various different settings like the frames per second. You can also change the playback, whether you want it to be in real time, active viewport only, or if you want the video to loop. We can also change the speed of the video if you want a quarter speed, half speed, double speed, 4 times the speed as some basic options. And then we can also change the frame count. So for us, we'll just change it to 300 frames and we can just mess around with that. But you can make it to whatever you like, and you can see that number's now changed and we can drag along that. So let's just start with a basic animation. We'll just create a sphere or a ball in this case, and what we can do is if we click on it and we can move it up just to give it a basic spot. If you click auto key and if you drag to your set frame, so we'll drag it to 30, so that's 1 frame and that's 1 second, and if we move it, that will set it in, and you can see that identified by the red markers of where the set frame is. And you can see then if we press play, it moves to that point, and eventually once it runs through all the frames, it will reset. So we can then set another one. We can move it over there at 40, and you can just pick whatever. So we'll just pick some random numbers. We'll do 70 and drag it over here. And then if we press play, you can see that it now hits those points, and that the reason this part goes so fast is because it is only 10 frames instead of the 30 frames, so it's running quite quick. And so then if you just click out of auto key, that will then save it, so you can move around and it'll play the animation as per normal. But say you wanted to add some more frames in, if we just click auto key again, select the chosen frame, drag it, unclick auto key. If we go back and play the video again, you'll see that that new frame has been set in with that indicated by that red marker. We can just stop the animation. And now that we've had that set up, if you want to delete those frames, you click on the ball, and if you just click and drag in the timeline there, and we can select all the red markers and just press delete, they'll now be gone, and obviously that video isn't playing anymore. It's just gone back to a stationary object. So now that we've done that, let's just try something different. What we can do is we just create it with a line, and we'll use a smooth line, and we'll just create a path, and we'll test out making it follow a path. So we'll just make something curvy like this. Doesn't really matter how we do it for now, but just as an example, if we just rotate, and then what we need to do is select the ball, go here and to forces, and click motion paths, and if we go down, do convert from, click that, and then select our line, and you'll see it'll drag over to that point, and now it's following that path. So if we click play, you can see it follows along this now path, and it's divided it up into its own frames. And we can change this. We can change some times of where we want the animation to end, and just muck around with things at different settings like so. And then just testing it out, you can see that frame, we set it to specific frames if we need it to be, and then we can just delete these, and if we just drag the ball out of position and we select this line and we go and we can just try something, we can just modify this line and try raising it up, and maybe we'll raise this point, extend this point out and raise it up as well. So we've created more of a 3D path instead of a linear path. And click on the sphere again, and we'll just repeat the process here again. Go into forces, motion paths, and we do convert from, and click on the line, and then you'll see that it will now follow this on. It's gone back to that set frame as well that we were on before, and clicks through. So it's almost saved those frame marks as we went along. You can see how it follows along, and it's following on with a different speed variant because it is going up a hill. And you have multiple different options, so we can change it to gradient. So it just changes the video a little bit, or the animation. And we can try object color. Uniform. This is a variety of different settings that you can apply, and velocity as well. And that just changes the colors of the square, which are just a mapping thing based on the line and the animation itself. You can also turn on keyframes, which will identify what frame that these markers are, that these ball will hit that spot. As you can see, 160, and it's hitting that square there. If we press play, you can see that it follows through, just in case you need specific markers. And then we'll just test out changing it to quarter speed, just as an example. You can see that it just slows down the frames per second and just makes it half the speed, or a quarter of the speed in this case. And then we can change the frame rate, and you can see that when it gets there, I'll put on 2 times speed just to speed this up. It gets there and stops and repeats. So it is important that, if you do change the frame rate, the frames, that you do change the line and reconvert it so it does follow all the way around, unless this is your intended goal. And so we'll just change that back to 300 now. Press play, and then it automatically fixes itself when it's got the correct frame rates that it was animated in. So thank you for watching, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful.